It's Summit League Basketball Media Day here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and wouldn't you know it, we are now joined by Jim Turgeon in his second season as the Denver women's basketball coach, and what a turnaround for the Pioneers in his first season. First winning season for Denver last year since 2012. The Pioneers going 16-14, a 10-win improvement from the previous season. And Jim, you played a lot of different players last year. There were certainly some ups, highs, and lows, but certainly I have to say more highs, playing 11, 12 kids in the rotation. Yeah. What did you think? I always ask coaches one of the first things when you take over a program, where do you even start when you come in?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've had the opportunity to try to turn around 3 different programs, and everyone's been a little bit different. What made us successful last year is the girls I inherited are just great people, and they simply let me coach them. You know, that sounds crazy. And then we were trying to feel our way. That's why we played so many players, try to feel our way of best way for us to have to win games, and what style works in the Summit. And so it took some experiments and stuff like that. But the main thing, the girls are awesome, and they let me coach them. And I think that's why we were successful.
So you return about 75% of your scoring, which on paper that always looks great, right? Yeah. But that doesn't always guarantee that you're going to, be able to have success with that. What have you done in the offseason to really try to help take the next steps, I guess? Well,
first of all, in your second year is usually your toughest year because you're blending the old with the new, and your recruits, the old kids, the kids have been there think, well, now he recruited his players and stuff. So chemistry is real important, and we talked about, we started that in the spring last year. Well, really, we started it in the summer when the freshmen came in and our transfer, and we talk about it all the time. Our simple motto is play hard, play smart, play together. We just demand that our kids, get along and share the basketball and be a team. That's how I've done it everywhere, and that's how we're going to try to do it again.
One of the best rebounding teams in the Summit League, actually, surprisingly, I think, coming in with not a ton of big bodies, but you did have one in Jordan Alt that did a really good job on the glass that you inherited. Sierra Morgan was also one of those seniors that did a really good job. Yeah. How were you able to get everybody to buy in? Because even Maddie Nelson did a tremendous job on the glass last year as a sophomore.
Well, you can rebound a lot when you miss a lot of shots. We played fast. That was one of our big changes from the previous coaching staff, was we played fast and we put up a lot of shots. I've never seen a team miss so many layups in your life. But we rebound. We're going to miss Jordan. Jordan had a great motor. She was one of the girls I talked about that really bought in and was excited about the new coaching staff being there. But we put an emphasis on it. It's funny when after a game and you watch film and you figure, well, we didn't do that very good, and then you look back at your practice schedule and you didn't work on it. So, that's a concentrated effort focus for us is rebounding, because again we did miss a lot. If you look at our field goal percentage, it was probably in the lower half of the conference, and so a lot of opportunities to rebound.
So you return Claire Gritt, who was the freshman of the year last year. What have you seen in her offseason that's improved in her game too?
She's an unbelievable kid. She works so hard. And this summer, she only went home for 2 weeks. She stayed and worked in the weight room, worked on her game. She lives, breathes, eats basketball, and I really think she's going to have a big year. She's her own worst critic type player, and I don't have to coach her much. I have to really kind of raise her confidence back up from day to day. But I expect her to have a huge year. She had a great freshman year, but she has worked really hard this off season, and I expect her to have a big year.
I know the three-point line was something that your team took pride in. Samantha Romanowski, Lauren Lovin was never afraid to put the ball up from deep. I know there was a game last year as well between Western Illinois and Denver, 36 three-pointers made, which I believe is a new NCAA record. Yes, you got a lot of shooters. Romanowski certainly in there. Brianna Johnson did a nice job distributing as well for a very strong backcourt for your club.
Yes, we played fast, and a lot of times you want to shoot the ball before we turn it over. So, Lauren Lovin is what I call a bad shot maker, and she's the only one that has green light all the time, no matter if she's guarded or not. She's an incredible shooter. We're trying to work on her other parts of her game, defense and ball handling and stuff like that. But that was our style. Sometimes you can get your best shot in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. So we shot a lot of threes in transition, and then again, I inherited some girls who can really shoot the ball, and we recruited for that too. I think we have an opportunity. Hopefully, we'll have a little more inside game this year, be a little bit more balanced, but probably going to expect a lot of threes from us again this year.
Well, you mentioned mixing some of the veteran players that you've had now with some of the new. You want to highlight a few of your new players that you're excited about that are coming into your program? Yeah,
I think that our steal of the staff was Sydney Mack, a girl from Denver. I think she's grown, like she's 6'2" wing. You know, she's grown about an inch since she committed to us. She has a motor. She never stops. She's going to help us with keep our rebounding going, and she can shoot a little bit. She can drive a little bit. She rebounds. She's worked really, really hard. Simba, she was ranked 180th in the country coming in. Very talented, but she's going through some things freshmen go through. You know, you can't take plays off. You know, concentrating on learning the plays and paying attention to detail. But she's very talented, and I think she's going to have a great year too.
One of the things as a mid-major, as a coach, you're used to this in all the levels you've coached, is your schedule sometimes can get uneven, and you just got to play it the way it is. Your first 7 games, I believe, are in Colorado. 6 of those home games, and then a road game at Northern Colorado. And then I think 8 of 9 in December are on the road. What's that going to be like for your club trying to transition from November into December? Because that's a challenge.
It's an absolute challenge. Not only that, our roster was out of balance. That's why we only have 13 girls on our roster. We held 2 scholarships back to try to balance out our classes, and we're kind of playing the schedule we've been dealt. After this year, it will be more balanced, but I'm more worried about those road games. We're at New Mexico State, we're at Wyoming, we're at Northern Colorado, we're at Colorado State. That's a lot for a second year, I call a second year program. But it's going to prepare us for the summit. When we go to South Dakota, we go to South Dakota State, and it's a great challenge for our girls. And then we're on the quarter system. So when we're on those road games in the second half of our non-conference schedule, we're out of class. So I think that's going to help us a little bit too.
Well, Coach, a lot of times they talk about this time of the year being kind of a grind for teams. You know, it's October, you're practicing all the time. You don't get to see any other competition. Yeah. How has your team handled that? And as a coach, how do you handle that?
Well, our team hadn't handled it very good at all. We started out, I was excited, real excited about our team. Things were, typical you'd hope in the second year improve, and we're really scoring the basketball in practice. And then about a week ago, we hit a plateau. Yeah. And, they're already ready to play games, and you just try to fight through that. So we bring in referees on Saturdays and play some scrimmages and stuff like that to make it more game-like, to get them excited about that. And I again, when I schedule, I try to schedule something every Saturday, the 4 weeks of preseason. It gives them something to look forward to. I'm not sure that helped us, but I hope it did. But I think you're going to see an improved team. I was real happy with last year, but I think you're going to see an improved team this year.
Well, Brad and I have had a chance to ask Coach Turgeon some questions, but now some fans are going to get an opportunity with Ask Your Coach, and let's go over to Elena Lanson to ask some of those questions. Elena?
Hey, Coach. Yeah, a couple questions from your fans. First of all, what do you like your team to do in the off-season to build some team chemistry and get going on the court?
Well, we've done a lot of different things in the past. My favorite one was we went and played laser tag at this warehouse, and we picked teams. So that we picked 2 different teams, and the assistant coaches played too, and there's some strategy to it. So the kids have to talk and get along. But we do things like that. We do a lot of community service too. We're really involved with the Special Olympics. A couple weeks ago, we did the leukemia walk, and that stuff off the courts when you really build. To me, is when you really build chemistry, and those are the few things I like to do. Especially that laser tag. I was like a ninja out there, so it was fun.
We're going to need an invite to that laser tag next year. That sounds like a really good time. They all talk about what the players can do in the off season, but what do you do as a coach to get better as well?
Well, that's a good question. a lot of coaches go to clinics and stuff like that, and I used to do that. Now, as long as I've been in the business, I have a lot of coaching friends. So a lot of my stuff that I try to improve on is I talk to my friends in the business about whether like we couldn't guard anybody last year. So I've been talking to some people on how to maybe change our defense up a little bit. I got a great source with my brother. He's head coach University of Maryland, and the game is different, men's and women's basketball. But just the other day, I don't know what in our new motion offense we put in. I didn't know what to do with our post player. They're always in the way. So he gave me some ideas about that. But for me, it's my coaching buddies in the business that I bounce ideas off of, and that helps me probably the best.
All right, and then for all those visiting coaches, what restaurant would you tell them to go to when they're in town, and what would you tell them to order?
I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm a McDonald's guy. You can tell by my stomach probably, but probably let's go with Elway's steak. I would order the ribeye. It's awesome, and then maybe if those teams go to Elway's, it's not cheap, so maybe they'll spend all their budget and won't have any money for recruiting. But no, in Denver, there's a lot of great places to eat. Chipotle started there at Denver, and they've have all kinds of startups in Denver. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Elway's.
Good stuff as always, Coach Turgeon. We appreciate the time. With best wishes to you this coming season, and you're going to get back in time for practice today, so that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't know about the team, but we're ready. We'll be practicing today at 4:15.
All right, Jim Turgeon, second-year head coach at the University of Denver. Stay tuned. After this break, we will bring in Rodney Billups from the men's side on the Pioneers. That's after this, as our coverage of Summit League Media Day continues here on Midco Sports Network.